Hello everyone, it's Anthony again, and I'm here for the Art of Speaking English. We're going to look at the third video in this series, word and sentence stress. Actually, you could call it syllable stress because that's what happens in either a word or in the sentence or the utterance, what they call the utterance. So we'll look at that. And we'll start with the presentation, The Art of Speaking English. Let's just go here and look at this. This is word and sentence stress 2. I'll go ahead and put the pointer. Okay. Stressed and unstressed syllables. Let's look at a few sentences here. We have, it's in the syllabus. And in order for you to understand this stressed symbol, you have to also have the surrounding syllables that are unstressed. Okay, so this is a feature that is identified as emphasized either in the loudness or the pitch, or it's a little bit longer. So these shorter unstressed syllables will be the opposite of that. Okay, and sometimes there is a difficulty in recognizing where the stress falls. Let's just look at a few sentences here. He had a prior engagement. He had a prior engagement. Okay, now the word is emphasized, but also the syllable is emphasized. He had a prior engagement. I don't understand. I don't understand. You see the emphasized word is understand, and the syllable is the stand. Now let's look at this schematically. You can see that it's in the syllabus. So the stress is represented here by this larger capital O in red. He had a prior. We have a minor emphasis here. He had a prior engagement. Okay, but the main emphasis is here on engagement. But it's important also that you understand prior. I don't understand. You see, understand. Stand comes out in this. If we look at what are called function words, you'll see that these are words that are making the sentence work grammatically. They function grammatically. So these are pronounced a little bit differently. It's important that you recognize the function words. We have articles such as a and the, conjunctions and, but, then, indefinite adjectives, any, such, some, personal pronouns, he, she, it, we, you, they, and prepositions such as to, at, of, for, and from. And these consist of the list of function words. These are words that are usually difficult to recognize. These are the words that are sometimes pronounced in a weaker way. Let's see how. They're pronounced differently. They recognize, well, what does that mean differently? That means that in one sentence you will hear we, which is a pronoun, we. In another you'll hear we didn't want to do it, we. So they can be pronounced differently. They try to recognize all of the different forms. You need to understand both while you are listening and while you are speaking. And these words fill in between the content words. The content words are different from the function words. Function words relate to the grammar. The content words relate to the vocabulary. And like I said before, they make the sentences work, function grammatically. So that's the idea behind. And let's look at a table of some of these. For example, we can see some auxiliaries and prepositions. The word can, we have a strong form and a weak form. Let's compare this. She can swim faster than I can. Okay, let me say that more naturally. She can swim faster than I can. She can swim faster than I can. You see, you have two different pronunciations of the same word. One is a weak form and one is a strong form. She can swim faster than I can. You see, I'm emphasizing can. I'm giving it the strong or the full form. Let's look at another example. She's from Scotland. She's from Scotland. Where are you from? I have two different forms, weak form and the strong form. So she's from Scotland. She's from Scotland. Very, very short. We have the short sound. And where are you from? Where are you from? A little more pronounced. Okay, so those are some examples of how the forms can be weak and full or strong. Let's look at some other examples. Whoops, sorry, I skipped ahead. Okay, I have a whole table here of verbs. These are the verbs that could be considered as function words with strong and weak forms. So that's what I'm trying to say. I am, that's the usual. I am a person gets weakened to the contracted form. The contraction is actually a weak form of the verb. Are, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? The weak form. Where's he from? Where is he from? So is, the usual is, gets shortened to is or z or sometimes s. Where's he from? Where's he from? Where's he? S. You get a s sound. Was. That's where he was born. Was gets changed to was. That's where he was born. That's where he was born. He was born. He was born. Very, very short. Were. That's where my children were born. Were, long sound. Were gets changed to were. That's where my children were born. Were born. Do, where do you live? Do gets changed to duh. Where do you live? Where do you live? Where do you live? Does, where does he live? Where does he live? Does, the long form. Does, where does he live? Short form. Have, he will have left by now. They've gone. Have gets shortened to of. They will have left. They will have left. Or even shorter, without a vowel sound, they will have left. They will have left. Has, baby has swallowed a stone. He's gone. So the has, the strong form, gets changed to has or us. The baby is swallowed. You don't even hear the H. The baby is swallowed. You get an S. The baby's swallowed. Or the baby's swallowed. Had, he had already gone. He'd already gone. So you have had, which is shortened to a had and an ud. He'd already gone. He had already gone. He had already gone. Or just he'd already gone. The contraction. Can, we saw before. I'm not sure if I can lend it to you. I'm not sure if I can lend it to you. Long, short. I'm not sure if I can lend it to you. Can, short song. Could. Well, what could I say? Could, long, strong form. Could gets changed to could. What could I say? What could I say? You don't even hear it practically. Would, the same. From would, we go to would. Well, what would you have done? What would you have done? What would you have done? And what would you have done? Have done. Would, and then contracted completely without the W sound. What did he do? What did he do? What would he do? What did he do? Should, well, what should I have said? What should I have said? Should gets changed to should. What should I? What should I? What should I? Or just should. What should I said? What should I have said? What should I have said? Okay, those are all verbs. Let's look at the personal pronouns. You. How do you do? You gets changed to you. How do you do? How do you do? Your. What does your boss think? Your gets changed to ya. What does your boss think? He. Where does he work? He gets changed to h. Where does he work? Where does he work? Or just e. Where does he work? 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 Him. I'll give it to him later. Him gets nullified. The h. I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. To him. To him. To him. And it's not contracted, but that's what it seems like it's doing. She. She's leaving tomorrow. She gets changed to she. She's leaving tomorrow. She's leaving tomorrow. Her. I'll give it to her later. Her. I'll give it to 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 her later. I'll give it to her later. That's very, very short. Us. They'll give it to us later. Us gets changed to us. They'll give it to us. They'll give it to us later. Them. I'll give it to them later. Them gets changed to them. Them. I'll give it to them. Them. I'll give it to them later. Personal pronouns. Prepositions. To. He's already gone to work. To work. To gets changed to t. At. He's at work, I think. He's at work. He's at work. He's at work. He's at work. Very short. Of gets changed to of. That's the last of the wine. That's the last of the wine. Very, very short. For he's away for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks gets changed to f. He's away for 2 weeks. From, which we saw before. From, she comes from Scotland. From Scotland. Very short. Conjunctions. And, she's tall and fair gets changed to un or and. She's tall and fair, depending on what you have following here. She's tall and fair. Tall and fair. But, she's here, but one isn't. But gets changed to but. She's here, but John isn't. But one isn't. But one isn't. But, very short. Then, she's older than you gets changed to than. She's older than you. She's older than you. Prepositions and conjunctions. Finally, we have articles. He's a doctor. We can say a. He's a doctor. He's a doctor. He's a doctor. He's a doctor. Short sound. Weak sound. An. She's an architect. An architect. She's an architect. She's an architect. Short sound. She's the person I told you about. This is more for a word that has a vowel sound. She's the airline stewardess, or she's the assistant. The assistant. It gets changed to the. She's the person. She's the person. Very short. Indefinite adjectives. Any. Have we got any biscuits? Gets changed to any. Very short. Any. Have we got any biscuits? Have we got any biscuits? And it can be just ni. Have we got any biscuits? Have we got any biscuits? Have we got any biscuits? Got any biscuits? Some. There's some tea in the pot. Some gets changed to some. There's some tea. There's some tea. Such It's not such a big deal, really. Such gets very shortened. It's not such a big deal. It's not such a big deal. Such a big deal. Very fast. Okay, so those are strong forms, weak forms in the what we call the functional group of words. They're emphasized. They have a particular meaning usually if they are emphasized. No, I was coming from the station, not going to it. So these are emphasized to make you understand I was coming from the station because you understood too. Weak forms usually a feature of ordinary everyday speech. So when we're talking in everyday way, generally those will be weak. And we need to become attuned to them as learners. You need to try to identify some of those sounds, listen for them. If you can record something or if you're listening to a recorder, many players nowadays have the speed that you can adjust so you can listen to something at 0.8%, a little bit slower, 0.75. 0.5 starts to become a little bit strange, but you can also go to 0.25 and listen to it very, very attentively. Become attuned to those weak sounds. Practice both the strong and the weak forms, okay? Try to practice that and receive feedback when you can. If you have a teacher, when you can, to try to receive as much feedback on the production that you have in order to produce a strong mix so that you have a good mix of both strong and weak forms. You're not just speaking mechanically and I always speak like this and everything is the same for all of the words that I say. That's a robot. You have to try to produce strong and weak forms. Let's look at the following intonation. Intonation with this arrow. We'll look at how it's linked to intonation, the stress, while speaking. The rise and fall in pitch determines stressed and unstressed words. Okay, the pitch is, I'm going a little higher. So that rise and fall determines stressed and unstressed. There are two basic types of intonation. There's the rising and the falling. And the falling intonation is much more common. Starting a sentence, there are two basic types of intonation. The falling intonation is much more common. You see, I'm falling at the end. Linked to the intonation while speaking. And some people are a little bit boring in the way that they speak like this because it's always falling. The falling intonation, the pitch starts high and then it gets low at the end. So whatever is stressed gets a higher pitch. Okay, sentences with falling intonation use stressed content words. Usually you will hear the content words being stressed. Let's look at some examples. I saw a crab at the beach. I saw a crab at the beach. Okay, clearly this is falling. And my words that I'm emphasizing, crab is an object and beach is an object. Okay, so those are content words. They never return my calls. They never return my calls. You see, I'm falling at the end. Never is an adverb. Calls is an object. Okay, never is, it's not really a content word, but it is in this case because it really supplies the negative. Frank is a responsible person. Frank is a responsible person. Okay, you'll see person falling causes me to emphasize a little bit more this per, but the real emphasized word is responsible. Frank is a responsible person. Okay, so this is a minor. Frank is the subject. The responsible is an adjective. In this case, the adjective content word. My dad doesn't like to wash the dishes. Dad is the subject, wash is the verb, dishes is the object. My dad doesn't like to watch. My dad doesn't like to wash the dishes. I emphasize like, but I didn't have to. My dad doesn't like to wash the dishes. See, I'm falling, wash the dishes, dad. Those are the important words. Let's look at the rising intonation. Rising intonation, the pitch starts lower and gets higher, just like the arrow. And the rising intonation is a little less common. It's used to ask a yes-no question, and it's used to express a negative emotion like anger. This is also an information question. I don't know why it's just yes-no, but it's also less. The information question has a rising intonation too. Stress falls on verbs and objects. Okay, so here we have the verbs and the objects. Varies depending on the meaning. Here are some examples. Are you sure? Are you sure? You see, the intonation is going up here at the end because of the question. Do you want to go to the park? Do you want to go to the park? See, I'm rising here. Do you want to go to the park? Intonation on want. Stress on want. Intonation rising. Stress on park. You're so mean. You're so mean. Okay, this is anger. You're so mean. Mean is raising a little bit. It's a content word. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. You see, we have don't talk to you, and we have a raising because I'm exclaiming. I'm making a exclamation here. I'm stressing that. Okay, so sentence stress, we can consider the stressed function. The grammatical words are unstressed, weak. Conjunctions, pronouns, prepositions we saw in the charts, articles, auxiliaries, those are unstressed. He's the tallest person in the room. Okay, we saw this last time. He's the tallest, adjective, person, the noun, in the room. The room is the noun, so we have this intonation. Da, 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 da. He is the tallest person in the room, you see. Let's look at a question. We have, who will come to the party? 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 Come is the main verb. Party is the noun. So all of the other words are non-stressed, but there is kind of a raising intonation here, lowering and raising. This is particular for a information question. Stress on different words to alter the meaning. Okay, let's look at this. I ran quickly to the desk. Emphasizes who is doing the running. I ran quickly to the desk. Emphasizes what action is being done. I ran quickly to the desk. I ran quickly to the desk. I ran quickly to the desk. Emphasizes the way of running. No fundamental meaning change. Sorry, there's a mistake here. No fundamental meaning change. I ran quickly to the desk. I ran quickly to the desk. There's no meaning difference there. I ran quickly to the desk. Okay, this is an inappropriate sense stress. It emphasizes the direction of running. I ran quickly to the desk, not from the desk. Okay, this is like our example. I ran quickly to the desk. Also, this is inappropriate, but it emphasizes that it was a specific desk. I ran quickly to the desk. The desk. If I really want to emphasize it, even though there's no vowel here, I could say, I ran quickly to the desk. That one, the one that I was supposed to. I ran quickly to the desk. Emphasizes the object or the location to which you ran. I ran quickly to the desk. And so we have the idea of the word stress in all cases. This is the presentation for today, and I just wanted to remind you, click on the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you can get the notifications for the next videos. I thank you for listening and participating. Listen to the recording several times. Try to repeat the sentences that I've highlighted and work on your